Hey Survivor, welcome to episode 102 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. In this episode, you'll learn 5 courtroom tactics the narcissist uses to try to control the outcome. But first, we'll self-regulate with a 4-4-8 breathing exercise if you'd like. We'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you notice about your breathing? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey Survivor, welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax this time. Hey, Survivor! Are you tired of feeling exhausted, stressed, lonely, and stuck in narcissistic relationships, and you just want closure and healing? I spent years rationalizing toxic relationships and dysfunctional environments in the name of community, connection, and career. As a result, I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. One of the worst was an alleged murderer who discarded me after I caught him lying, stopped helping him for free, and held my boundaries. Even though I dodged a bullet, I felt depressed, ashamed, and I doubted myself. I want you to know that you don't have to suffer in silence, feel alone, or crazy anymore. Come and experience the power of creating your own closure without the permission or participation of the narcissist. I've been no contact for over 4 years now, and I've grown personally and professionally. I have more clarity, stronger boundaries. I'm building a life and business that I've always wanted and enjoying real relationships. I know you want to break patterns of getting into toxic relationships, even if you don't mean to. And it feels so good to disconnect from dysfunction, set and hold boundaries, provide closure for myself, and focus on self-care. And to empower my kids to do the same. Go to closurecoachingsession.com right now and get ready to heal after narcissistic abuse. I told you about my recent courtroom experience for a barn fire case in my community, and specifically, it was the sentencing of one of the defendants. And boy, it was triggering on a lot of levels, not gonna lie. There were some really powerful victim impact statements that were read, not just by the adults, like parents in the situation, but also by the kids who were actually in the barn when it caught fire and was burning to the ground, who narrowly escaped with their lives. And also there were some defense statements, and that was interesting. In general, there was this anticipation in the room of what the sentencing might look like due to an abundance of wrist slaps in our community for juvenile offenders in teen violence cases. Can you relate? The defense definitely worked the system from start to finish to minimize consequences for this young man, and they swore they'd do their own internal damage control. And the judge actually, I was kind of surprised, emphasized the seriousness of the situation and leaned more towards rehab over a wrist slap in this case. So you think that all narcissists get away with their behavior? Be strong, take heart, and stand 10 toes down in your truth. Here are 5 courtroom tactics the narcissist uses to try to control the outcome. Number 1, domination and devaluation. Narcissistic and toxic individuals will interrupt, dominate conversations, even courtroom conversations, dismiss and devalue others, especially the victims. We saw this in the hearing the other week where the defense attorney was very quick to try to cut off the victim mom as she was reading her impact statement when he raised objections to things that she was sharing and questioning things that she put in her statements. And it was super disruptive, obviously very triggering emotionally. We also saw this when the defendant's parents had the opportunity to give statements. Also, a couple of other family members gave statements too. And each one of them made a point, and it was very subtle, and I doubt seriously that most people noticed it, but I did. Each one of them started their statement off by saying, "Your Honor, I'm going to keep my remarks very brief," and they would go on to read their statement. The idea was they were throwing shade at the victim mom who had a very lengthy impact statement. But the fact of the matter is that this woman has been through a lot. She lost a lot of property. There was a lot of damage, and it was a horrible incident that they're still dealing with. But I noticed that everyone who on the defense side that read a statement kind of took that little dig at her. Narcissistic and toxic individuals have a sense of grandiosity, an exaggerated sense of self and self-importance, and in a lot of cases, especially in court cases, expect special treatment from the court and from the community even, especially if they're pillar members of the community or have some position or have a lot of wealth or influence, then that can come into play as well, into fueling that sense of grandiosity. And then just good old unadulterated pride and selfishness. If you are in a situation like this, focus on the facts over feelings. Speak your truth. This will allow you to be heard and also to express your truth. You can fall apart, cry on someone's shoulder, and all of the things later, but in that moment when you are delivering your message, whatever you need to do to ground and pull yourself together to be able to just deliver the facts, deliver the information, is going to really help to get that across in a powerful way. Number 2, mass manipulation. Narcissistic individuals act like they are above the law. The rules do not apply to them. And they will manipulate any and everyone with money, or maybe try to manipulate evidence. They'll try to spin things and paint themselves to be the victim to get out of trouble, save face, maybe cast shadows of doubt on the victim side, even get victims to act out of character in front of a cloud of witnesses. This comes from a very strong sense of entitlement, and the blame shifting, even if it's superficial and temporary, cast that shame and blame off of the narcissistic individual so that they don't have to really sit with the feelings of discomfort or even consequence or anticipation of consequence. We saw this as well, where the defense had reached out to the victims early on and offered a huge chunk of cash to pay for the barn, with the expectation that the money would just smooth everything out and that everything would just be let go, versus having these hearings and really having to go through the system and deal with consequence. And in the process, they rallied a cloud of fans and supporters who probably don't know all of the details or haven't seen or heard all of the evidence, especially the digital evidence that really is condemning in terms of what had happened in the situation. They're going and supporting the defense side without really having the whole picture, or having only the picture or the part of the picture that the defense side wants them to see, and they're just kind of blindly chipping in their support, or maybe they're being paid off, quite frankly, because that can happen too. Reading letters, standing behind the defense and proclaiming, oh, he's a great kid, oh, I can't really speak to what got him here in court, but great kid, blah, blah, blah. When, the reality is there's tons of digital evidence out there that can be retrieved from different companies that tells the whole story and really fills in the blanks on what had happened. For you, survivor, it's so important to stay calm, composed, and focused. It can really be tempting to just get in your feelings and let the narcissistic or toxic individual throw you off of your game and have you in your feelings, emotional, and that's the point. Presenting yourself in a way that looks frazzled or overly emotional when really you're just having a normal reaction from whatever triggers took place. The goal is to swing things in their favor so that they can get their needs met, which would include avoiding consequence and being able to garner the sympathy and support of people who really don't know better. Number 3, stare and scare. Narcissistic individuals will stare down, smirk, use body language, and even flying monkeys to intimidate their targets. This is due to the fact that they thrive on emotional reactions, and it provides or can help to provide a sense of power or control in a situation where they really aren't in control, but it gives that illusion or that feeling. We saw this the other week where not only were members of the defense side posturing themselves a certain way, but even outside after the hearing was over and certain victims were being interviewed by the media, there were certain supporters of the defense who were standing nearby, almost like, we're watching you, we're here, you see us? I felt so bad for these young ladies who were trying to speak their truth and stand firm in their stories and all of that. And they had, these flying monkeys that were supporting the defendant who were trying to intimidate them really by establishing their presence as they were talking to the media. And again, the goal is throw you off, get you to not tell your story, to waver, stutter, come across as unclear or confused or emotional, and get you to fumble and stumble through that. So in a situation like that, deep breaths can really help a lot. Holding hands with a trusted friend or family member or other supporter. I saw that in the courtroom. It was so special. One of the young ladies who was in the barn fire, she reached over and held her hand while she read her victim impact statement. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. And it really helped the young lady to stick with it and to fight through the emotions and just the fear, things that she was feeling in that moment, the triggers, to be able to speak her truth, just even having to rehash it and relive it in a certain way. So engaging with safe people like that, and even practicing visualization, can really help to empower you when you are being intimidated or you're getting that stare down. Number 4, delays and disorder. Narcissistic individuals love to stall and postpone proceedings, create chaos and confusion, and even contradict themselves. And they may not even realize it, but the goal is to just try to survive and stay out of trouble and avoid consequence. I have definitely been there when a narcissistic individual, say in a juvenile teen violence case, decided to drag out the court hearing, stall, delay, take a break in the middle of it. This drains your energy and it wastes your time and other resources, and it gives the narcissistic individual the illusion of having an advantage over you. So In this case, you want to document all the things and lean on your support network. And that will help to empower you and see the hearing through to the end. Number 5, sick satisfaction. Narcissistic individuals take pleasure in your pain. This is also known as schadenfreude. And there is a lack of empathy or compassion behind this. I've referred in the past to narcissistic individuals as sad, selfish, sabotaging survivalists. I'm in trouble. I'm busted. You got me. I'm going to get my digs in or do little things to rattle you or throw you off or make you look crazy or like you're just being overly emotional or overreacting. It can throw you off if you let it. But if you see it for what it is, then you can navigate around that and continue to stay focused. You want to make sure that even in the midst of trying to get justice in your particular situation, that you, survivor, are not becoming the thing that you hate and indulging in schadenfreude yourself towards the narcissist, degrading yourself in that way. But instead, you can affirm your worthiness. Do you have a mantra? Do you have an affirmation that you can say to yourself that really empowers you, emboldens you, gives you that boost of confidence just when you need it? You can also visualize your victory in court. What do you want that to look like? What kind of statement do you want to make to the judge? Or if it applies to you, to the media? What do you want people in your community to know if you're in this situation, or just people around you? When you are balanced and focused and feeling confident and not letting the narcissistic or toxic individual rattle you, you can deliver that message in a powerful way and impact the lives of so many people. Now, let's recap 5 courtroom tactics the narcissist uses to try to control the outcome. Number 1, domination and devaluation. Number 2, mass manipulation. Number 3, stare and scare. Number 4, delays and disorder. And number 5, sick satisfaction. Remember, when the narcissist tears you down, it's time to ground. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this encourages you to find balance and safety in the present, to stand 10 toes down in your truth, even when the narcissist tries you. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.